Oh, segment 4, and at the end of our last segment, we were rushed. Why don't you tell the audience why, Cole?
Oh, man, I was blocking his mom's car outside, so... Yeah, that was quite interesting.
Basically, and this soundbite you've heard quite a bit, just like the AFC playoff picture, the end of that segment was a... Anyway, going away from the AFC for this one, a divisional matchup. Arizona against St. Louis.
Well, St. Louis kind of got a little bit of shut down a little bit by a very good San Francisco team last week. As, again, this season has been kind of a little bit of a struggle for them. And their defense playing well, for the offense, they got to try to figure something out with that right there.
Let me get this into simpler terms. You were hoping I picked St. Louis last week, didn't you?
Yeah, I was. And they're playing against an Arizona team who's been playing really well these last couple of weeks. They finally got their first loss after a very, 4-game winning streak they had, as they lost to Philadelphia last week in the Battle of the Birds. And this one, it's a hard one, but I believe I got to go with Arizona in this one, just because... One, you have Carson Palmer, who's been playing outstanding these last couple of weeks. Even though he had a little bit of a struggle last week, though. And their Cardinals' defense is playing really good as well. And they are at home. So I got to give Atlanta this one, 24-21.
You mean Arizona?
Did I say Arizona? What did I say?
Said Atlanta.
Oh, Arizona. Yeah, I guess not.
There's a difference between those words, my friend.
Yeah, I guess that's the word too. Yeah, I guess so. All right.
Anyway, yeah, in simpler terms, I think Cole was hoping that I picked St. Louis last week, which I did not. And this time he veered away from St. Louis, and he's a smart man for doing that, because I picked that Arizona as well. I almost said Atlanta. I picked Arizona to win this week. Usually this is one of those games where the average fan would think, Arizona's not that great, I'm going to pick St. Louis. But Arizona's better than people think. I think they're right on line with St. Louis. Or San Francisco, I meant. Let's see here. Did Arizona beat San Francisco when they were at Candlestick?
I do not believe so. I think they lost.
Or it was close.
It was close, I think, but I think they lost that one.
They did. But either way, I'm going to pick Arizona to win this game 31-21. It'll be a good one, that's for sure. Let's see here. Another late game, San Diego, which is another one of those teams in the race for the AFC against the Giants.
Well, New York coming off a win last week against a very struggling Washington team. Even though it wasn't that very of an impressive win, as they struggled a little bit in that game. As now they head to San Diego, who I thought could have took down Cincinnati, but just was a little bit shy of doing that against Cincinnati.
Told ya.
It happens. It happens. And this is a battle between what team I should have played for, as he was drafted by the Chargers, but was traded away to the Giants. As now, this game, I believe this is going to be a close game in my mind. I believe both teams are decently good, but I'm going to give it to the home team in San Diego. I feel like San Diego has the better offense. They've been playing a little bit better than the Giants have these last couple of weeks. Even though the Giants had that little 4-game winning streak. Not but 5 wins now for them this season. But I believe San Diego keeps their playoff hopes alive with a win here, and they're going to take it 27-21.
I also picked San Diego to win this game. I couldn't believe it, but last week locally in San Diego, that game was blacked out. Remember that from 2007 to 2009 over here?
Yep.
I think we are within 20 miles of the blackout line, which is the line in between, or the line where it is blacked out locally, if it happens. Because I think the rule is 150-mile radius of the stadium, and we're about 120
Oh, wow.
away, which is weird. But anyway, enough with blackouts. And not the ones that Cole, I don't know. Anyway.
Hold on. That's not that far.
I'm kidding. But anyway, San Diego. I do believe they beat the Giants this week. That was probably one of my minor screw ups. But anyway, but not the game. San Diego wins this game. I'm gonna say 31-20. I do believe their offense is getting better, and the Giants, who knows with that team, with both New York teams, a circus battle. America's Game of the Week, San Francisco against Seattle.
Well, you got a battle of the two top teams in the NFC West in this one. As Seattle, they impressed me last week. They did something last week I didn't think they could do. They didn't just beat New Orleans, they destroyed New Orleans. It was quite impressive that Seattle did that. I don't know, maybe it was the weather for Drew Brees that they can, I don't know, that's not going to have a season this New Orleans team's played in bad weather, and they've been played horrible in it twice now.
How everybody perceives the New Orleans Saints? The Saints. How Seattle fans look at them? Pee Wee squad.
As right now, yeah, Seattle looking really good, back to where they should be. As they had a little struggle for those 3 weeks, but now they are playing good again. But this time they had to San Francisco, who now got something going again after a win against St. Louis last week. Kaepernick, Frank Gore starting to get something going here. Bolden as well, as this team's trying to get that, at least get into possibly a division win. As I think they're 2 or 3 games back. I think they're 3 games back now. So the chance of getting a division win is kind of difficult for them to get, but they can still at least get the 5 seed in the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
But this team, I believe, San Francisco is still a good team. But they are not as good as the Seattle team. I just believe the Seattle team is something special in this team. I believe they are a Super Bowl team. Even though a lot of people think, maybe they're not in that strong of a division. I think they're probably... It's weird how the NFC West became one of the weakest divisions in the NFL to now probably one of the top ones in a couple of years.
Yes.
It's quite amazing to me. But I am going to give Seattle the win here. They're going to get 31-24 over San Francisco. I believe Wilson will have a good game here, and he will get the game-winning touchdown for them.
This one is going to be a good game, and I'm glad this one is America's Game of the Week. Unlike last week's was Kansas City and Denver. But still, this one is going to be a great game. Seattle has clinched a playoff spot. They are the first team to do so. Congratulations to them, as well deserved. But, plot twist, I believe they're going to have a bit of a slip-up in this game. 1, because it's in San Francisco, and 2, because they've clinched the playoff spot. So, who knows about this team? On the road, they're almost like the Jets, except the Jets on the upside. I'm going to pick San Francisco to win this game, and I'm going to pick them to win 27-17. If Seattle wins this game, who knows? I just think with them having clinched the playoff spot, I think they're going to be a little overconfident in San Francisco. Who knows? This is the second to last game at Candlestick. Am I correct?
Yep.
Second to last game at Candlestick, and unless something really odd happens, that will be the second to last game. San Francisco wins 27-17. Going to the night games, the flexed in Sunday night game this week. I've been waiting for it. New Orleans against Carolina.
Well, Carolina coming to this one on a 8-game winning streak here. Looking pretty good right now, as now they have to play a very tough game in New Orleans. But Cam Newton right now playing a great season so far. I was just amazed how good this guy is playing now in his 3rd season. After watching the first 2 years, I thought, man, this guy's not going to be that impressive at all. But this year he has proved me wrong, and this entire Panthers team has proved me wrong so far this year, as their defense just outstanding right now. As now they have to go against New Orleans here and play the Saints, who, I don't know, apparently outside they cannot play football. I don't know why. But Breeze, he got a horrible game. His entire offense had a horrible team. Defense played horrible. And
Maybe
New Orleans,
they just need to be in this studio to have a chance to beat Seattle.
Hey, maybe. Man, they might have played some Madden to beat them actually, but I don't know. But right now, this is a hard decision for me. This is gonna be, I believe, it's going to be a very high scoring game in this one. Even though, yeah, Carolina's got a great defense, I believe the New Orleans offense is going to get something going in this one. But I'm still going to give this game to Carolina. I feel like Carolina is the better team in this one, and I believe they will take the division lead in this game. And they will win this game 38-31.
This one is another tough game to pick, as down the stretch these games have been tougher to pick than they were last season. Let's see here. I do think Carolina takes one of the two games. I don't think it's this one, though. I think that one of these teams had to have a letdown game before this one to win. And clearly New Orleans had that letdown game, even though the Panthers had a bit of a slip-up themselves against the Dolphins. I'm going to pick New Orleans to win this game, believe it or not, 27-10. I think the Saints' defense is actually something to be reckoned with. Unlike last year, where the Saints' defense was basically a Frayer model of Rich Rod's defense at Michigan. Let's not get to that too quickly. But anyway, New Orleans 27, Carolina 10, and I do think Carolina will wrap up the 5 seed in the NFC. But they
if not that number 2 seed, they'll take the 5 seed.
Yeah, but they could be as strong as 2. Who knows? The Monday night game, and to be honest, another game where I'm scratching my head as to why this is the Monday night game. Chicago against Dallas.
Well, one reason this could be a Monday night game is because both these teams are kind of fighting for something this season right now. As Chicago, again, like we mentioned earlier, segment 2, they are only one game behind Detroit in the playoff picture for the division lead, and Dallas right now tied for the division lead with also a team Detroit will be playing this week, the Philadelphia Eagles. So if you think about it, this game has some big impact into each other. As Dallas last week struggled at first against the Oakland Raiders, but they came back and won on Thanksgiving. As Tony Romo had a great game, Murray had a really good game, as I believe he had 3 touchdowns in that game. All 3 touchdowns they had for the team in that game. As now they head to the Windy City of Chicago to play the Bears, who had a big letdown last week as they lost to Minnesota, which that one really surprised me in that case. As even though the Bears' offense was very powerful in that game, they just had a huge letdown to Adrian Peterson get over 200 yards rushing in that game.
Yeah.
As that shows us Bear defense is not as good as it usually is in the years past. This one I feel like is somewhat of a close game in this, but I feel like Dallas is the better team, and Dallas is going to take this one 24-17.
This one is another one of those toss-up games. Chicago, if you don't know, they're going to retire Mike Ditka's jersey, or Ditka's number, this game. By the way, how was that sausage pillow? Delicious Scotch Ditka. In the State Farm discount double check commercials. But anyways, let's take it over to my boy Raj. Hey guys, I just saved a ton of cash with my State Farm discount double check. I'm surprised Cole didn't do it with me. But anyway, and the brats are on me. Anyway, believe it or not, I think Chicago wins this game, 31-21. You'd think that Dallas took a step forward by hiring Monty Kiffin as their defensive coordinator. They've taken not 1, not 2, but 3 steps back defensively. And they may take another step forward as Sean Lee comes back, but still, their defense, and this is how we'll end the show this week, the Dallas Cowboys defense, just like the AFC playoff picture, and just like the end of segment 3, is this. And with that, ends our Week 14 NFL show. We'll see you next week.